The new Salamangreat cards have been released in Master Duel, and in today's video I will explain the Salamangreat deck card by card, and then I will give you some spicy combos. In the end I will show you a really strong one card combo, so stay tuned for that. So we're going over the main deck first. I'm just going to explain every card and just tell you the relevant effects. So we first got the new Salamangreat of Fire. This one is pretty strong because it, as well as a Lady Debug, on normal summon it can search a level 4. So it's pretty much a Stratos, and also on special summon. And it searches a level 4 or lower Salamangreat monster. Also you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except fire monsters. That's also the reason why we only play 2. And yeah, then we got the Salamangreat of Gazelle. Gazelle is pretty much one of your stronger monsters. You actually need this as often as possible, and you also always want to search this with Salamangreat of Fire. So we got Gazelle. It can special summon itself when a Salamangreat monster is sent to the graveyard, except during the damage step, and then on special or normal summon it can send one Salamangreat card to the graveyard. Then we got Foxy. Foxy can excavate free on normal summon, and then you can add one Salamangreat card and the rest is shuffled back into the deck. And if this card is in your graveyard, that's the more relevant effect. You can discard one Salamangreat card and then you can destroy one face-up special spell and trap card and special summon him. And this is pretty strong, especially going second, and this also outs Floodgates. Then we got Salamangreat Spinny. This is one of your combo pieces, also a good draw if you draw it in combination with Gazelle. Then we got Salamangreat Weasel. This is the new card. In the TCG it's not that new, it's already like released for 1 year. This is pretty strong because this can special summon a monster to your opponent's field. So if you have two or more Salamangreat monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if it's Salamangreat Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz or Link monster special summon to your field while he is in the graveyard, you can target one other Salamangreat monster in your graveyard, place this card on the bottom of your deck, and if you do special summon that monster to your opponent's field, then draw one card. So this nets your draw and it special summons to your opponent's field. And now you may think, why would I want to special summon something to my opponent's field? So that's because of the Promethean Princess, because if a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, not by your opponent, but it doesn't matter who summoned the monster to your opponent's field, you can target one fire monster you control and one monster your opponent controls, destroy them and special summon this. And this is then a link 3, which can be easily used as a link material for your link 4s. So this is pretty strong. Then we got the Code of Soul. This is also new. This is pretty much the field spell but on legs, and also you can banish it from the graveyard in your opponent's main phase, and then banish this card from your graveyard immediately after this effect resolves. Link summon one link 3 or higher Cybers link. So it's pretty much the Salamangreat Code of Soul. So you always want to summon Pyro Phoenix or the Raging Phoenix in your opponent's turn, but most of the time it's Pyro Phoenix. Then we got the Lady Debug. This is, as well as the Salamangreat of Fire, on normal or special summon, this adds level 3 or lower Cybers monster from a deck. This only adds level 3 or lower, so you cannot search, for example, Jack Jaguar, but this does not really matter. But what you can search is the Code of Soul and the EMP Meowmine. So this is actually the better searcher in this deck, even though the synergy isn't the greatest, because if you link away the Salamangreat of Fire with Gazelle in hand, you can immediately special summon Gazelle. But yeah, then we got Nibiru, whatever, and then we got Silent Mining. At 2, you could play it at 3. In the TCG it's at 3, and I actually wouldn't play it at 3 there because it can be bricky and you have enough ways to search. So I think this is fine like that. Then we got 3 Circle. Circle is your searcher. It just adds a Salamangreat monster from a deck to your hand, and it can protect a Salamangreat link monster you control that was link summoned using a monster with its same name as material. So, and make it unaffected. And then we got the field spell. The field spell just says link summon with one monster you control into the same one, and in damage calculation you can gain some life points through this effect, which only really comes up if you I think in Master Duel it doesn't come up that much, because in the TCG it's really, sometimes you want your opponent to destroy your monster because of a floodgate. Maybe if you have like Rivalry of the Warlords and you gave your opponent like a Salamangreat of Fire, and then they just attack into your monster to crash the Cyber's monster, and then you just make your monster make its attack 0, and if you do gain life points to it, and then your opponent's monster cannot crash because it will just destroy your monster. Okay, then we got Will. Will is pretty much a monster reborn and also a soul charge. So once per turn it can special summon one Salamangreat monster from your hand or graveyard. And also the second effect, you can only use one. The second effect is you can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard, then target one Salamangreat Link monster you control that was Link summoned using a monster with its same name as material. Special summon Salamangreat monsters from your hand and or graveyard in defense position up to the number of that monster Link rating. So if you got Raging Phoenix or Pyro Phoenix, which were summoned with their own name, then you can pretty much summon up to 4 monsters, so that's pretty strong. And then the last Salamangreat card in the main deck is the Salamangreat Draw. This is pretty much an Omni Negate as long as you control a Salamangreat Link monster. And also this card can reset itself onto the board if you relink summon a Salamangreat monster. Then for the extra deck we got the Horse Prince. This special summons a level 3 fire monster from your deck. This will pretty much always special summon Code of Soul or the Ash, because you can just bounce this back or add this back with Sunlight Wolf. Then we got Mirror Stadio. This special summons a Salamangreat monster from your deck in defense position. Also, you're locked into fire effects for the rest of this turn. And also, when this card is, if this Exile summoned card is sent to the graveyard as material for the link summon of the Salamangreat monster, you can target one monster on the board and return it to the hand. So it's also a little bit of removal. Then we got Balings. Balings searches the field spell, which is pretty important, but often since the release of Code of Soul, you have another way to relink summon easier, so this isn't that important, but you should still play the field spell. Also, this is always a mandatory part of your combos, so yeah. Then we got Cyber's Wicked. This, if a monster is special summoned to the zone it points to, you can banish one Cyber's monster from your graveyard and then add one Cyber's tuner from your deck to your hand. So it searches pretty much the Salamangreat Weasel. I think, yeah, only the Weasel in this variant. Then we got Sunlight Wolf. Sunlight Wolf adds a fire monster from your graveyard to your hand, and also when a monster is special summoned into its zone and during a main phase, if it was to relink summoned, you can add one Salamangreat spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand. So this can add back this. It can add back everything, but most of the time it will add back this or the raw, maybe the circle if you already have the raw. Yeah. Then we got Heater. Heater is pretty much against Snake Eye and other decks. It's just really good to get another body. Then we got Sprint. Sprint in this deck will send the EMP Meow Mine to then have this as an interruption on your opponent's turn. Then we got SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight is just SP Little Knight. And then we got Promethean Princess. This special summons back a fire, and the other effect I already explained, which targets one of your monsters that's fire and one of your opponent's monster to destroy them and special summon from graveyard. Then we got Pyro Phoenix. So the relevant effect is that if this card is link summoned using itself, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. So this basically translates into Omni Negate. And also the other effect is summon a link monster in your opponent's graveyard to its field, and then you can trigger the other effect and inflict damage to your opponent to that monster's original attack, which doesn't really come up that often, only if your opponent pretty much, if you can kill him with it. So yeah. Then we got the, and also you summon this by using the Code of Souls second effect, which says that you can quick effect relink summon a link 3 or higher Cyber's link monster, and if you have the field spell up, you can then just relink summon this with itself. Then we got the Raging Phoenix. This, if link summoned using itself, you can add one Salamangreat card from your deck to your hand, and this will pretty much always search the Raw or the Will most of the time. Maybe in the second turn it will search the Weasel or the deck other cards. And the second effect is also pretty relevant, because if the fire monster you control is destroyed, you can target one of those monsters and then special summon this card, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to that monster's attack. So Yeah, also I think, yeah, I already explained this. So this always pretty much mills either the Raw, the Jaguar, the Spinny, and that's pretty much it. Maybe sometimes the Foxy if you want to out field spell or permanent spell or trap from your opponent. But most of the time it will be this, this, and this. Yeah, I think that's all the cards, and let's hop into the combos. Okay, now we got the first 2-card combo. This is with Lady Debug and Salamangreat Gazelle. So we're just going into it by normal summoning the Lady Debug. Lady Debug will then activate to search yourself the Code of Soul. Then you're going immediately into your Bailings. Bailings will then trigger to search the Sanctuary. Then you can just activate your Code of Soul to special summon itself. And then it's really important that you now activate its effect, because it's a lingering effect, so it will just stay active for the rest of the turn. So anywhere in that turn you can then re-link summon one of your link monsters. Then you're going into the Cyber's Wicked. Cyber's Wicked will then you will activate the Gazelle. Gazelle will then summon into a zone Cyber's Wicked monster, and then you're going to activate Chaining 1 Gazelle and Chaining 2 Cyber's Wicked. Cyber's Wicked will then banish the Lady Debug out of your graveyard as cost. And then you're going to search Weasel, and Gazelle will then dump a Spinny. After that, you're just going into Weasel. Then you're going to use the Weasel and the Gazelle to summon back your Horse Prince to the board. Horse Prince will then trigger to summon your Ash out of the deck. And now you might be thinking, why do I want to summon Ash? But you will come to that now, because now you're going to use your Horse Prince and your Cyber's Wicked to go into Promethean Princess. And then you're going to use the Promethean Princess to summon back your Weasel. Doesn't actually matter which you summon back, but then you're going to trigger the Salamangreat Spinny to special summon back. And then you're just going into the Mirror Stalio and use its effect, detaching the Ash Blossom to summon from your deck Salamangreat Jaguar. Now you can just go into your Raging Phoenix with, for example, Weasel and Promethean Princess. Now it's important to not activate it right away. And then you're just going into another one, because we activated the Code of Soul. Then this will trigger. Just do not activate this right here. This will then search, for example, the Raw. You could also search the Will and go for a bigger combo, but I think at this point it's important to get the Omni Negate. I think it's just better, but I will show the combo with Will later. Then we are going to use the Salamangreat Raging Phoenix and the Jaguar to go into Sunlight Wolf. Now you can finally activate the Weasel, and this will then summon back your Bailings to your opponent's field. Now it doesn't really matter that much, but you can just now summon it into the zone the Sunlight Wolf points to. And then you're going to trigger Chaining 1 Promethean Princess, destroying your Stalio and your Bailings. and chain link 2 will then be Sunlight Wolf, which can then add back your Ash. So this will add back Ash, and like that we just searched Ash pretty much. Then these will be destroyed to summon back the Promethean Princess. And now you can activate the Pyro Phoenix, targeting the Mirror Stadio that got destroyed, and summon back the Raging Phoenix. Now what you can do is you can activate your Mirage Stadio, because you now need a Raging Phoenix, because in this build I only got 2 in there, but this is just an example. You just summon the Jaguar in here to get your Raging Phoenix back into the extra deck, and now you can just summon the Pyro Phoenix by linking away the Promethean Princess and the Jaguar. This can then stay on the board. And now you're going to activate the field spell, because what's really important, the Code of Soul doesn't let you do a relink summon when it's banished. So if you don't have this on the board, if you don't have the field spell on the board, you have to use all of your link monsters on the field, all of your monsters on the board to get into another rank link 4. So you need to be careful right here. And now you ended up on Ash Blossom, Salamangreat Raw, Raging Phoenix, Pyro Phoenix, and Sunlight Wolf, and you also have the Promethean Princess and Balings in the graveyard. So this is pretty much the best, one of the best endboards you can do. You can just now set this, and also, as you can see, I still have 4 other cards in my hand because I got a draw from the Weasel and 3 other cards. And also, what's good about this is that when the Sunlight Wolf is in the zone and you special summon the Pyro Phoenix, which I will just show now, you can just chain block the Sunlight Wolf, the Pyro Phoenix. So, okay, he just set 3 cards, and then in the end phase, in the end of the main phase, I will just banish the Pyro Phoenix, the Code of Soul, and then summon back the Pyro Phoenix, and then use the effect of Salamangreat Sanctuary. And just like that, we got the Pyro Phoenix as chain link 1. And then as chain link 2, we got the Sunlight Wolf, which will just chain block. And then we can add back, yeah, it doesn't really matter, you can just add back Gazelle as follow-up. And then you destroyed your opponent's whole board, and then it's your turn. And what's really important is that if you didn't, if your opponent couldn't play through like your Raw and Ash and maybe Impermanence and doesn't have a board, you can just use the end of main phase to relink summon the Raging Phoenix, so that you can then get another search from your deck. And now, as you can see, we still got the Spinny in graveyard to summon back, we still got the Jaguar to summon back, and we also have the Salamangreat Gazelle in hand. So this is a really strong end board. So now we got the second 2-card combo. In this combo you're going to start with Spinny and Circle or Gazelle, doesn't really matter. So you're just going to normal summon the Spinny, then you get yourself Gazelle. This is here. Then you're just going to link away the Spinny into Balings. And then you're going to trigger chain link 1 Balings and chain link 2 Gazelle. Then you're going to use the Gazelle, and now it's important because you already got Spinny in graveyard, you don't actually need to mill Spinny, so you're just going to mill Raw, and then you're just going to summon the Spinny from graveyard. Now you're going to link away 2 of your monsters for Cyber's Wicked. And then you're going to summon a Balings by using the Gazelle. And this will then trigger the Wicked. The Wicked will then banish your other Bailings because you already got 2, so it doesn't really matter. Then you add back Weasel. Now it's important that you go into the Princess. And after you got into Princess, it's important that you do not activate the Princess right away because you only got 2 Salamangreat monsters in your graveyard right now, so you have to special summon the Weasel first for this combo to work. And then you're going to activate it, and now it's important to summon back the Gazelle, not the Bailings, because you need 2 level 3 monsters. Now you're going to use those to get into the Horse Prince. And the Horse Prince will then trigger to special summon Code of Soul out of your deck. Now you're just going to activate the effect of Code of Soul. You don't have to, I think, but it's not bad to have it. And then you're just going to link away the Code of Soul and the Promethean Princess. Doesn't matter if you used it this or this. And then you can just relink summon. Don't use the effect of Weasel right here. So now it's important because you already got the Raw and Grave. You can just activate the Raging Phoenix first and then just chain block it with the Raw. And still important, do not activate the Weasel right here. So you're just going to set the Raw, and this can then search the will. Now what you can do is you activate the will and then use its second effect. I think we got 4, 1, 2, we only got 2. So do we want to? Yeah, we definitely still want to use those 2. So you're just going to send it away, target the Raging Phoenix, and then summon back those 2. This can then go into Sunlight Wolf. You're going to use the Weasel, this is the most important part. And now you can trigger the Weasel. So the Weasel will then special summon the Bailings to your opponent's board and draw your card, and then as before you're going to go chain link 1 Princess, targeting your Brotherhood, and chain link 2 is and the Bailings, and chain link 2 is the Sunlight Wolf. The only thing you shouldn't do right now is getting back your Promethean Princess. So you're just going to get back a Raging Phoenix, because then you can just relink summon it in the opponent's turn. And also you're now going to special summon back another Raging Phoenix. Now what you could do is you can do 2 different things. You can go into your Pyro Phoenix and you could just call it a day right now and just pass on this, but you can also go into your Sprint summon it here. And this on summon can then mill the MP Meowmine. And like that, you can trigger your MP Meowmine, your Pyro Phoenix, your Princess, and the Bailings in graveyard, and you can do the relink summon, and you also got the Raw. Okay, so now we got the 1-card combo. So this is pretty much what you can do with only 1 Lady Debug. You can do a similar combo with Salamangreat Fire, but in my opinion the Lady Debug is better because it just going second, it just does way more. So you're just going to normal summon the Lady Debug. Lady Debug will then trigger and get yourself Gazelle. Now, the problem with this combo, or the problem that has been a problem before we got the Code of Soul, has been that now to summon the Gazelle you had to use your field spell effect to reeling summon the Bailings, what I'm showing you right now. So you're just going to reeling summon, and you still do this right now, but the good thing is now is that you have another way to summon, to reeling summon. So you're just going to trigger the Gazelle now, and then you're going to use the Gazelle. Gazelle will then dump Jack Jaguar. It's really important that you dump Jack Jaguar, not Spinny, because you're not going into the you can use Spinny, but then you would have to use 3 Bailings. Then you summon it right there, and then you're going into the Cyber's Wicked as before. And then you're going to summon another Bailings to trigger off the Cyber's Wicked. This will then trigger the Cyber's Wicked, and now you're banishing Debug again. This is pretty much the worst card in your graveyard, so that's the best thing you can do. Then you're going to special summon the Promethean Princess, and now you can get into your way to get to Code of Soul. So you're just going to special summon a fire monster. This is now important that you take Gazelle because you need a level 3. And then you special summon the Weasel. And then you're going to make the Brotherhood of Fire Fist Horse Prince. This will then trigger to special summon the Code of Soul. Then you're going to activate it, that's the most important part. And then you're just going into Raging Phoenix. And then, important right now, as before, don't trigger the Weasel yet. And then go into your Raging Phoenix again. Now you activate the Raging Phoenix first and don't activate, do you? I think, yeah, you do it. You just activate the Weasel right now and then summon back Bailings to your opponent's field. This will net you a draw then. And then you're going to add the Salamangreat Roar. Now, because you summoned Bailings to your opponent's board, you're just going to trigger the Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess will then summon onto the board. And then you're going to trigger the Raging Phoenix in your grave, because Code of Soul got destroyed to special summon back. And now, as before, you've got a Link 4 and a Link 3, which can then go into your Pyro Phoenix. So, just like that, this time you don't have a way to chain block, but you still got the bot wipe from Pyro Phoenix, you got the Omni Negate, and you also got another Raging Phoenix in grave to trigger, you got the Promethean Princess to trigger, and you got the Bailings to protect your monsters. And you still have 5 cards in hand, so I started with 4, so that's why I have 4 right here. But you actually have 5 cards in normal duel. So most of the time you will probably win this if you don't get interrupted. Yeah. Okay, this is a little different 1-card combo. So in this we're going to start with Salamangreat of Fire. This will then activate to search for Gazelle again. And now it's important that you cannot go into the Promethean Prince, into the Cyber's Wicked. So you're just going to go into Bailings. Bailings will then be Chain Link 1. And Chain Link 2 will be Gazelle to special summon itself. and then you got the field spell, and then you're going to activate Gazelle to mill. In this case, because it's a 1-card combo, you can just go into Spinny. Then you're going into the Mirage Stalio. And this will then detach the Gazelle to summon Weasel. So that's the way you get into the Weasel. Then you're going to special summon the Promethean Princess. Princess will then activate its effect to summon back. Doesn't really matter what you summon back right here, but you're just going to use the Mirror Stalio. Don't trigger the Weasel yet. And then you're just going into your Raging Phoenix. Then activate the field spell. Then use Raging Phoenix to Reeling Summon. And now in this instance you're just going to use Raging Phoenix. And this will then search Will, not the Rage, the Raw as before. And then you're going to activate the Will. Then use its effect. Now it's important to use the second effect. So you're just going to target the Raging Phoenix. Now you can special summon up to 4. So this will be those 4 then. And now you can just start by using your Brotherhood of the Fire Fist. This can then use those 2, for example. Doesn't really matter, you could also use the Gazelle. Then you're going to use the Brotherhood of the Fire Fist, and now it's important that you can pretty much decide what you want to do. You can either special summon the Ash from the deck to search it, or you can just use Code of Soul. In this instance I will go for Code of Soul, then activate the Code of Soul, and then you're going for the Sunlight Wolf, I guess. Now you're first going for your sprint with the Salamangreat of Fire and the Fire Horse Prince, because you need this empty zone. This will then trigger to get the Meowma into the graveyard, which can trigger when a Link 2 monster is sent to the graveyard or banished. Then you're going to summon the Sunlight Wolf using Raging Phoenix and Code of Soul. Now we can activate the Weasel. Weasel will just summon Balings to your opponent's board. Then we got the triggers. We are going to trigger Promethean Princess Chainlink 1. And Chainlink 2 will then be Sunlight Wolf. Sunlight Wolf can then add follow-up. This can be the Salamangreat of Fire right here. This will be summoned to this zone, doesn't really matter. And then you summon back your Raging Phoenix and target your Gazelle that was destroyed. And now you can go into Sunlight Wolf again, use the Code of Soul effect. Then you're going to trigger to use its effect and get back the Will. and then you can just go into Pyro Phoenix with the Raging Phoenix and the Promethean Princess, and just like that you've got yourself the similar combo, which consists of the interruptions of one Raging Phoenix in graveyard, the Sunlight Wolf in graveyard, not the Sunlight Wolf, the Banelings in graveyard, the Promethean Princess in graveyard, which can all do something. And you also got the Code of Soul, which can be banished to reeling summon Pyro Phoenix, and this can board wipe your opponent. And you also got the MP Meow Mine, which will trigger when your opponent destroys the Sprite Sprint or the Sunlight Wolf to bounce back a card. And you also got, as you can see, 2, 4, 6, 7 cards in hand. Okay, that's it for the video. And if you want to see me do these combos with real Yu-Gi-Oh cards, just look over here. And stay tuned for the next video and have a nice day.